Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have Jamie Mullarkey taking on Muhammadjon Naimov. Jamie Mullarkey, 16-5, overall 4-1 in his last 5 years, coming off that decision win over Francisco Prado. He's taking on insanely short notice. This was just announced yesterday. Muhammadjon Naimov, who's only 8-2 in his career. He is 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 3-fight win streak into his UFC debut. Before we started the stream, I said, you know what I should have done? I should have.
We just made fun of your dad jokes. Do you want to say it?
No, I should have spent the time to Photoshop you into the Jamie Mullarkey spots in all these photos.
I would have lost my shit. I'll be honest with that. If you just script this thing over and there was my face right there, I'd have lost my shit. I legitimately would have lost my shit. I wouldn't have been able to finish.
I didn't think of it until literally I had it up in front of me and I was checking the slides. I was like, fuck that shit. It's actually when I saw your easel that I was like, God, if I put Jacob's face on there, that would have been it.
I don't think we look alike.
I wouldn't have thought it, and then people say it, and it's like, yep. As soon as people say it, it's like, yep. Anyway, it's because you both don't have eyebrows, which is like a very bizarre.
I do have eyebrows.
Physical trait. Okay,
they're blonde.
In the kitchen. They're the drawer
and they're
somewhere?
not as bushy as his. I think his look not. I would rather have my situation than those. I mean, those things are aggressive.
No.
Holy shit! It looks like looks like both of Naimov's nipples went and landed on top of Jamie Mullarkey's eyes.
I've got the dad jokes.
Yeah, that was a callback. Yeah. That was a that was a pretty good one. I mean, just imagine those little nipples hanging over.
Jamie Mullarkey, originally supposed to fight Garam, big time underdog in that fight. Now a massive favorite in this fight, and that's some short notice juice on that line. Jamie Mullarkey's a pretty well-rounded guy. He's sort of a jack of all trades. He can do everything. Not great anywhere, but he's a busy technical striker. He can grapple as well. His career has sort of evolved. He started primarily as a grappler, but he's been a much more active striker sort of later in his career. And he does have a couple of knockouts in the last 2 years as well. So he's found that power while developing his skills. He is coming off that decision win over Francisco Prado, where he did have really nice takedowns, solid striking. He was pretty patient in that fight as well. What are you doing?
None. Just hanging around.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite. That's my favorite.
None. Just hanging around.
What? Who? I think he goes, who, me? He goes, who, me? Just hanging around. Anyway, he's taking on Muhammadjon Naimov, who, very similar to Muin, fought in the Contender Series a few years ago. He's back at it, giving it another go. This is big opportunity on short notice.
I think they're both from Tajikistan.
There you go. And overall, Naimov is a well-rounded guy, right? He prefers to strike, but he can wrestle when he needs to. He bounces between featherweight and lightweight, so don't expect him to be sort of the bigger guy in this matchup here. Even though it is short notice, he's a fast guy. He's an athletic guy. He has old-school martial arts striking background. I think it's Taekwondo, karate, something like that. And he has that sort of style with him, that calculated approach to when he's throwing the kicks, when he's throwing the punches. He does like to close that distance and then clinch up and strike. He will actively defend takedowns early in a fight because he trusts his striking, and then start to slow down and completely flip that switch and just start diving for legs, looking for takedowns later as the fights go on. He is solid. His takedown defense is not as solid as his takedown offense, but it is there. And a lot of people instinctually jumped all over Jamie Mullarkey when he had a short notice opponent. The odds makers did as well, minus 590. I don't know, have those dropped everywhere yet?
I just checked Bet Online. I don't see them.
I saw them on FanDuel is where I got the minus 590. I think they were the first
How are you on FanDuel, Angelo?
Best fight odds, we'll tell you dumb dick. And then, so a lot of people jumped all over that. But the reality is, this is a tougher fight than those odds, dude. Naimov is not a bum. And I think Jamie Mullarkey, I think he gets a little too much credit for his body.
Just say what you know. Say it. Say it like a man. I do it every week, Angelo.
Yeah, you do it. I'm not you. I'm not going to come here and
say it like you said it to me.
I said Jamie Mullarkey sucks. I don't think he like sucks, but I don't
like
think
literally.
Jamie Mullarkey. I don't think.
I just think he's a terrible fighter.
He's not Jeff Molina, but he's also not Garam.
There we go. He's coming back. He's coming back.
I think Jamie Mullarkey's a little bit overrated because he's not great at striking. He's not great at wrestling. He uses those tools and he can outstrike people who are not very good strikers. He now grapple people who are not very good grapplers. But when he gets somebody like Naimov that could potentially do both things, he has some very real trouble. I do think Jamie Mullarkey's going to win. It is short notice, but I'm not touching these odds. Even if it was minus 400, I don't think I would have put him in the safety parlay because Muhammadjon is decent. Not great, but he's decent. And the only reason I am sort of favoring Jamie here, obviously is short notice, but also Jamie was preparing for a very good striker. So I'm sure his grappling is going to be on point for this fight. And, Muhammadjon can be taken down. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I'm going to say something a little bit crazy here, but I think it's absolutely true. This is a more dangerous fight for Jamie Mullarkey in terms of fighter. Not a harder fight because I think Garam was a very, very formidable opponent. But I don't think Garam was going to be very dangerous anywhere to a guy like Jamie Mullarkey. Yeah, he might get in the pocket, he might get clipped, but Garam's not like an overly dominant striker and obviously isn't like a dominant grappler with submissions and stuff like that. So when I'm looking at this guy, Naimov? How are you saying it?
Well, now I don't know how to say it because you said it wrong. Muhammadjon is easy to say.
My dude M, when I'm watching this guy M and the way that he strikes, especially the way he throws kicks, he's a very dangerous striker because he will take chances. It is short notice. You haven't really been able to study the opponent, and the way that he strikes is different. It's not typical just boxing, kickboxing style. He does the karate. He does the taekwondo stuff. It's going to be a more dangerous fight for Jamie Mullarkey, but the path for victory for Jamie Mullarkey is just too obvious in my mind. He should have been able to, as Angel mentioned, prepare for some wrestling against Garam, some defensive wrestling, offensive wrestling. The path for him in wrestling this guy, the undersized guy in M, in this fight, is just too obvious to me. If he wants to play around on the feet a little bit, have some fun, that's usually how Jamie plays fights. But I think short notice, he goes to the grappling early and just wins the fight, gets out of there. But I think he would have given Garam a hard time. He is a much more technical striker than I think you give him credit for, and has much more power than most people behind those strikes for this division. Really, really crazy power. Super tough guy. I think Jamie Mullarkey wins this, but he's going to want to wrestle to do it easier.
Yeah, he definitely is going to need to wrestle in this matchup. And I think he's preparing to do that. He was fighting Garam, and I'm sure he was preparing to wrestle because he wasn't going to outstrike Garam.
Yeah,
you know what annoys me about you and the rest of these fucking dorks? Everybody was like, now that the Garam fight is canceled, Jamie was going to murder him. Shut the fuck up.
I was saying it 3 weeks.
Yeah, but you do that shit all the time, and you actually put your money where your mouth is. Everybody else saying it just wants to be like,
I just put before I could even put it in premium, I had a plus, I was playing Jamie plus 3.5, like a full unit on it too.
I thought he was going to get fucking smoked. No. Anyway,
do you want to own up to why you hate Jamie Mullarkey?
Why?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. You have some sort of weird connection because I do kind of resemble Jamie Mullarkey, so by default, you just fucking hate the guy.
Everybody that kind of looks like you a little bit.
You kind of look like Big M over there a little bit. If you grew the beard.
I'll take that all day. I'll take that all day.
Oh, it's a compliment. I've seen that's
thank you.
Same chest hair too.
Thank you so much.
Same
and
nipples.
I bronzed my left one was pierced, so that's a little
Wow,
bigger than the right.
You really wanted to break. You were looking forward. You were like, oh my god, they're talking about nipples. By the way, guys, my nipple was pierced. So.
Old G's, no. Anyway, no DraftKings pricing just yet. The pricing is going to be absolutely wild for Naimov, but Mullarkey is already at $6,700. I forgot to post that here. He's at $6,700. That is locked in, ready to go. You have to throw him in DraftKings.
He's going to be in every single person's lineup.
You kind of have to. It's a free play at $6,700, a minus 590 favorite. Did those odds change? Did you even look?
What'd you say? I wasn't listening.
Jesus. Christ. Best fighter odds.
Someone said somebody photoshopped Jacob's face on Jamie and put it in Discord. Don't do that.
He's still minus 590, so nothing changed with the odds. And that is available on FanDuel. If you like it, I wouldn't touch it. We on picks.
This should be
$10 a month.
What do you think these odds should be?
He should be minus 350.
I was going to say 300, but then I'm thinking about it. I mean, it could be minus 240 in my mind.
It's very short notice, and he was preparing for a much better opponent.
I mean, I love Jamie more than anyone, but if there's anyone that just loves to just say fuck it and throw some haymakers in the pocket, it's Jamie Mullarkey, man, and that's not good. I'm seriously, I think I was more confident in him versus Garam because I think he was going to be able to handle Garam's kickboxing style, and this dude's just fucking a little bit wild, man. This dude's wild with the striking.
He's very wild. Comes forward, doesn't care, reckless abandon,
like the spinning stuff, the weird kicks. I mean, you get weird liver shots out of stuff like that.
Well, we'll see what happens. WeOwnPicks.com. Unlock all the picks, all the bets, and everything else.
I think Big M's lock of the week, man.
A month. I guess we'll have to wait and see.